the cloud. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning training. This is Gregory Muscari, and we are going to talk today about our four-step proven plan of action. And over the last few weeks, we went through step one, prepare, step two, share. Today, we're going to talk about step three, caring. And we like to say we are in the sharing and caring business. That's really the core essence of what we do. You know, we share our wonderful products and our wonderful business with people, and then we care enough to follow up, and when appropriate, we care enough to help them get started properly. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm very excited to have one of our presidential directors on the phone here, on the Zoom here with us this morning, Judy Daniel. If Judy, you want to pop on and say good morning to everyone? There she is.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday morning. Good to be here.
Oh, so wonderful. So, I'm just going to just kind of jump over and share my screen again. And I'm going to just point to the four-step proven plan of action, which is available in the Getting Started guidebook. And again, we've already gone through in previous weeks, we went through the welcome and we went through step one, which is preparation. We spent that was 2 weeks ago. And then last week, we jumped ahead and we covered step two, sharing. This is where you get out of the planning mode and you get into the action mode. And we're sharing and caring, and we're not in the telling and selling business. And we talked a lot about this. We do these calls every week for new people to learn the business and for existing distributors to sharpen their skills. So today we're going to jump ahead and we're going to talk about step three, the caring function. And we are in the people business. And we like to say the fortune and the friendship are in the follow-up. And caring is our way of saying follow-up, but we're also going to talk about it also meaning follow through. And in just a little bit, we're going to delineate the difference between follow up and follow through. But there's some good, solid, basic training here in the guidebook on how to do your follow-up. And I do want to point out, I'm going to now jump ahead and I'm going to stop that share there and reshare and jump over to our beautiful training website that Judy, you've done such a spectacular job pulling together. And all of the information you find in the Getting Started guide is in the nitty-gritty 101 training site, plus a whole lot more. You can fit a lot more in a website than you can in 10 or 12 pages in a Getting Started guide. So Judy, do you want to talk about some of the recent changes you just made, and we can kind of walk people through some of that over here?
Absolutely. So you'll notice in the navigation bar that share and care has been changed to how to share. Gregory and I were talking yesterday, and we thought it might be easier if we had a drop-down box, share, care, enroll. So why don't we click on the share, see how that's changed, Gregory? So I put the daily method of operation at the top. Just as a reminder, we've got that beautiful diagram you created. 1, prepare, 2, share, 3, 4. I love that diagram. So let's scroll down past the daily method of operation. Here we have share, words that really work. If you keep scrolling, Gregory, that's just the same as it used to be. As is this, executive summary, key bullets. And I do believe we have one more thing, our gifting support documents. And this is what we have under share.
Beautiful.
If we go back up to the navigation bar and click on care, where we are today, once again, a reminder of the daily method of operation. I think that's useful to have in front of us at all times. Along with, listening to Ron talk about he built senior presidential by offering people an X39 sample patch, and that link is right there. I guess we don't need 2 of them. I'll go back and delete the second one. And down below, we have on the left care, on the right 3-way calling. And this is all we have under the care section for now. So Gregory and I will put our heads together and we might add a couple of more things. But if you scroll down further, Gregory, you'll see that we just come to the medical claims. So it keeps it simple and focused. And then, of course, we have the enroll section. Do you want to look at that briefly now or leave that
Yeah, let's do
till?
that. So,
No, okay.
great.
So once again, here we are. Don't want to forget that. And then enrolling customers, enrolling distributors. And if
Beautiful.
you scroll down further, we have a few PDFs. The getting started options.
Mm-hmm.
And the wonderful reprint, thanks to Robin Blanc Mascari, who you might know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there we are. And we'll add a couple of more things, but we wanted to simplify, keep it uncomplicated. And even though we have the divisions of share, care, and enroll, Gregory, we were talking yesterday how the caring, they overlap really.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always in action at the same time, the more people you have in your funnel. And the caring especially, which is what we're going to talk about today, the caring imbues everything.
So let's go back over to care.
Yes.
There we are.
And you mentioned yesterday, Gregory, about follow up and follow through. Would you like to say a little more about that? Because I thought that just was a light bulb that went off.
Yeah, let me talk about that because, we talk about the fortune and the friendships in the follow-up. We could add to that, and it's also in the follow through. And from my perspective, follow-up is when you have begun the presentation, evaluation, interaction with somebody. You've talked about our historical breakthrough in affordable stem cell technology. You've piqued their interest. Maybe you've sent them a video through In Touch. Maybe you've actually patched them. Maybe they're in your physical proximity and you actually have given them some information and maybe given them a sample patch or two. So once you begin that process, you need to continue following up and giving people enough information to make an informed decision. Once they make a decision to join you and they become part of your team, whether it's a customer or a distributor, in my mind, that now becomes follow through. You follow up with your prospects, you follow through on an ongoing basis with your customers and distributors, because our goal is to create long-term, mutually rewarding relationships with customers, with distributors, with customer service, with your upline, with everybody involved in the LifeWave community and opportunity with you. And certainly your customers and your distributors are tantamount. They're very important. That's what we all want, to have a joyful, productive relationship with our customers and distributors, downline distributors. And that's we'll start referring to that more and more in some of the more advanced trainings, talking about leadership, talking about building your business to the next level and how important it is to follow through with the people that have already made the decision to join your team.
Because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
I've heard that said before.
Yes, and isn't it the truth? Because sometimes if we're new to network marketing, I know I fell into this category. I thought people just wanted the facts, 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 facts. If they had enough facts, they'd see it, the light bulb would go off. And in the telling of the facts when I was brand new, I think I missed the caring aspect, Gregory. Deep down.
To do that in the beginning.
Yes.
So excited, we're like the new evangelical, LifeWave distributors. We just have we're so excited. We just want to tell everybody everything.
Yes, absolutely.
And it doesn't work,
No.
It's like Robin likes to say, give them a potato chip or two, but don't dump the whole bag on them all at once, because they'll probably choke on it. So it's really important that we do it step by step. So I'm going to just go back to the guidebook because it contains the same steps, but I think it's a little more clear to see on the Zoom. These are some of the steps, the basic steps. And thank you, Judy, because you came up with this. And we trade stuff. I add stuff to the guidebook. Judy adds stuff to the website. And we add stuff to the guidebook and the website. So these were the 5 questions that you came up with. Would you like to discuss these briefly, Judy? Not 5 questions, but 5 sections.
Yes, I'm wondering, can you enlarge the screen a little bit? Because some people might be, or maybe not quite that much. I was just wondering, I'm thinking of people who might be on iPads. Just a little bit more would be great.
Let's see, how's
I
that?
think that'll help everybody. There we go. I hope that helps all the viewers. So number 1, show you care, follow up. But quite frankly, I didn't create these. I mimicked you, Gregory. We're in the same slipstream here.
Yeah.
And following up has rightly been called the master skill. And it's a waste of time, effort, and money to send out videos and samples if you are not going to follow up. And following up enables you to take appropriate action after they've watched the 3-minute video. And when you share videos via the LifeWave InTouch app, this is what you like, Gregory, you get an immediate notification. So before we move on to number 2, let's talk about some of the reasons you think, let's say all of us have or have had in the past, a little wall about following up. You know, like you've done it all and you just put it off till the next day. Why do you think that is, Gregory? It seems.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm glad you brought that up, because this is a little hurdle people need to get over, or a little barrier they need to break through. And I think it's a fear of rejection, partially, sometimes, very frequently, because, people take it personally. But I don't think you need to worry about rejection, because, the analogy we like to give, after a beautiful dinner, the waitress comes by with this wonderful platter of desserts, and you don't have to take them all. You don't have to take any of them. And if you say no to the waitress, she doesn't take it personally. She just goes, okay, thank you. So you don't have to take it personally either. But I think you owe it to yourself and to them. I would like to, analogize it with the law of the farm. And if, initially you're preparing the soil and you're getting ready, and then you start planting, okay? That's this, the sharing phase. We're sending out videos, we're calling people, doing all the things we do. But I like to say, don't bother planting seeds unless you're going to water, because it might rain. You might be lucky that somebody's going to dig deep enough, read enough that you can just talk to them one time and they're going to join, like what happened with Kai when he called Robin and I. But most of the time, it's going to take a series of follow-up events, sending a video, getting on the phone, maybe doing a 3-way. But, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to them. I know that Judy, like ourselves, like Robin and I know you share this feeling that once you really grok what we have here with LifeWave, it becomes a sense of responsibility to give people enough information to make an informed decision. And I just know the closer together you do those follow-up calls and connections, the better chance of getting a good decision, and the quicker you're going to get a decision. And the decision might be no, not now, or yes. And we love the yeses, but you got to go through the no's and the not nows usually to get to the yeses. So it's about, doing timely and diligent follow-up, and doing it, in a spirit of love and kindness. And, your goal should be, again, to give people enough information. It says it right up there. Our goal is to give people enough information to make a good decision. And that's all the job is. We're not in the convincing business. We're in the sharing and caring business.
Well, Gregory, when you were speaking, 2 brave people posted. One was, yes, fear of rejection is why I don't follow up. Someone else put up, I feel pushy. I have heard that so many times. Why do you think that's in our subconscious, that so many people feel that following up is being pushy?
Maybe because we've been hammered by the cellular phone company, or, the the cable TV company salesperson, or maybe we've just had negative experiences, with other people trying to sell us something. And maybe this is a good point to delineate the difference between sales and networking. And in sales, it's pitch, close the sale and move on and next. In network marketing, I like to say it's present, share to the point where someone says yes, and now you're opening a relationship as opposed to closing a sale. And if you're going in with that consciousness, you can feel proud, that you're really doing this for their benefit as much as your own. It's to your benefit too, to get some customers and to get some distributors, but really they're going to benefit more than you are because they get to use the products. And this is something that could make a huge difference in their life. So it's we have a sense of joy and obligation. It's like Robin often says, we wake up every morning and we got to pinch ourselves because we know we're going to hear more miracle stories and we're going to change more people's lives. So really go forward with that kind of philosophy. You're not being pushy. There's a difference between being pushy and what I call professional persistence, which means you're going to be diligent in your follow-up in a timely manner.
Beautifully said, Gregory. The word curiosity came to mind. Mm-hmm. Really, I think of ourselves as curiosity marketers. We're curious. We want to create curiosity in the person we're talking to, enough curiosity so they want to watch the video, which means not a lot of facts. And then if we think in terms of the caring, the following up, we're curious what they thought. Mm-hmm. We want to know. Their view matters to us. That's why we reached out. What did you like? Here we come to number 2, ask the questions. By the way, as you were speaking, we had more comments coming up, Gregory. We really hit I think a key point here. Yeah, somebody, Dr. Sarah posted, thank you, Dr. Sarah. I hate being sold to. I hate being sold to. And yet, if you look around your house, everything you have there, you've purchased. But we weren't forced into it. And if we think I'm being pushy, it sounds like we're going for the sale. Mm-hmm. And it's not that so much. We're going for the education, or what questions do you have? Let's get into it. So Gregory, how about number 2? Ask the questions.
Yeah. So I think this is, if you've sent them a video, you've talked to them and you sent them a video through InTouch, and bing, you get a notice that they watched it. This is, one of the most exciting parts of the business. And if you're not getting those little alerts that people are watching the videos, you're probably not inviting enough people to watch the videos, but it's really fun when you do get those. So you can then follow up with them soon thereafter, maybe within minutes, maybe within hours, but surely not more than a day or 2 do you want to lapse from the time they watch that video. You want to still be fresh on their mind. Hey, Judy, I noticed that you watched the video, and wasn't that wonderful? And I'm just curious, what interested you the most? Okay.
And I wouldn't feel like you were being pushy. You want to know my opinion. Everybody loves to share their opinion, their thoughts, get them talking. Carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
Exactly. No, that was perfect. They might, share, well, God, I was so surprised, about, this patch technology can have such a big impact on people's health. And, yeah, me too. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. When I first looked at this, I couldn't believe that this little patch was going to do all of that. But I saw when my wife Robin put on the back of her neck, 7 days later, her knee stopped hurting. That'd been bone on bone for 15 years. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? This is like a miracle. This is like potent medicine. So, and you might say, so on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the highest, how would you rate your current interest? And that's non-offensive. It's just like, hey, I'm a 5, I'm a 4, I'm a 6. Whoa, this is really exciting. Based on what I heard, I'm an 8 or a 9. but it's good to know how excited and interested somebody is. And then you could say, okay, well, awesome. What would it take to get you to a 10? And they might say, well, this puts us right into number 3. Maybe they have some questions. Maybe they might say, you offered me a sample. I'd really like to receive that sample. And you say, great, I'd be really happy to put a sample in the mail to you. And do you have any other questions that I could address for you? So that takes us kind of into number 3, in that they have additional questions. You may feel comfortable addressing them. If you're new, maybe you're going to say, wow, that's a really good question. And I'm kind of new. I'm just getting started. If it's okay with you, I'd like to see about getting one of my business associates, one of my business partners that's been involved a bit longer than I, on a call with you. And we could, and have them, answer your question so we could both learn together. It's okay not to know. What you need to know is how to get the answer for them. And, you may just go and dig in and do some research, nitty gritty, and get their answer. Or you may call your sponsor or one of your upline, or you may do a 3-way call, but you want to find out what people's questions are and get them the answer. And regarding questions, I think recently Robin did a discussion or a talk about the difference between open-ended and closed questions. An open-ended question is, what interested you the most? A closed-ended question, are you interested? Are you interested? No. Boom, it's over. But as opposed to an open-ended question, what interests you the most? Well, I was really interested how it seemed to, I saw in the testimonials that people seem to get a lot of relief in restricted mobility. And, I've been, dealing with this or dealing with that. Find out what their buttons are. Don't be afraid to ask, are you experiencing any of the symptoms of aging? And, if you're in our age range, most of us are, I'm a baby boomer, proud of it. And I'm very proud that I have very few of the symptoms of aging because I've been using LifeWay technologies for a little over 2 years. So that's answering questions. So Judy, you want to fill in there or maybe jump into when and how to do a 3-way call?
Well, there was a question that came up while you were talking about, do you find that if you mail out one sample, does that often work? And so what I would say to that, and then I'd be curious what you say, Gregory, before I send it, I prep them. I said, you may or may not notice a difference right away, but you will see the size of it, how light it is, how easy it is to put on, take off. You'll just really get an idea of what it's all about. Mind you, I say some people notice a difference in a minute, some people a day, a week, a month. We don't know what your body is, how your body's going to react. So I prepare them not to expect wow, look what happened with me with my one patch. And on the other hand, I have a good friend who's a distributor, and she has had many people that she's met through LinkedIn. She sent a patch and they have noticed the difference. So you just don't know. It's all about people's individual terrain, shall we say. And one other thing you mentioned about answering questions, I was on a 3-way call the other day with a health practitioner who asked me about GHK. I went right to nitty gritty. I went right to patches, down to the drop down box, GHK, and there it was right in front of me, which gives you confidence. And that's one of the reasons I keep coming back to this empowerment. The reason I created Nitty Gritty, to empower everybody. You don't want to become too brilliant. You don't want to memorize it all. You want to share information in a way that somebody else can duplicate. And I said to the woman, I'm just reading, and she had signed up as a distributor. I said, it's on Nitty Gritty 101. I'll show you where to go, but let me just read a few things. So she knew I was reading. The person who was doing the 3-way call knew I was reading. I mean, it's just so duplicatable. All right.
So I want to comment just a little bit more about that, the one patch. And, we've tested one patch, 10 patches, 30 patches. And I want to give Ron Rabin credit for this because he's one of the fastest growing senior presidentials in the company and in our organization. And he tested it all, giving them a month supply, giving them a week supply. And he found giving them a 1-day supply worked the best. For one reason, it was a lot more affordable. Okay. You're giving a $3 patch as opposed to a $100 sleeve, or 10 patches is like $30, $35. And, the key is in marketing is engagement, and offering the sample gets them engaged. Sometimes we offer the sample in order to get them to watch the video. Sometimes after they watch the video, they still want the sample. So yes, I'd be happy to send you a sample. And in the meanwhile, so I'll get it out in the mail. It's Saturday. I'm not going to be able to get to the post office today. I'll get it out in the mail on Monday. So I'll get to you in a few days. Meanwhile, what I'd like to do is send you some additional information to be reviewing while you're waiting for the patch to arrive. So now you've got them committed to the evaluation process. That's one of the greatest values of sending the patch to them, because you can feed them more information while they're waiting for the patch to arrive. So their knowledge and belief in the product by the time the patch arrives is higher than it was in that first conversation you had. And maybe you're going to have a second conversation. So, somebody says, excuse me, I'd like to send a patch. Okay, I'm going to send you another video. And ding, this afternoon, I get a ding that they watched the second video. I might call them back right after that, say, hey, I haven't had a chance to get the patch out because I won't be able to mail it till Monday, but wasn't that second video amazing? And what interested you most? And they said, heck, how do I order this stuff? And you didn't even put the patch in the mail yet, but you've shown your willingness, to support their evaluation by offering the patch. And like Judy said, some people, when they receive the patch, they'll put it on and they'll feel it. And we do let them know, and some people don't, and you might be the type of person that doesn't feel that one patch, but just know that wonderful things are happening at a cellular level from the moment you put it on. Some are more subtle, and for some people it's pronounced. So I'm not sure where you'll fit in with that, but we know the patch works for everybody. It's been scientifically proven and backed by over 100 clinical trials.
And I always let people know my excitement lies in this technology.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I learn about the technology, the more excited I get, the more impressed I am about what's been created. So I really invite them into this overview of the technology. So it's not just one patch, it's going to cure this, and it looks like a bandage. All right, so we're about, believe 11.
Before we jump ahead, Judy, I
Yes.
see Jim and Victoria asked a question, which video do you prefer for the second video? Excuse me. Should I clear my throat before the call?
It's early morning, right?
It's early morning. There's two videos that we used. One is a 20-minute RadFest video, and the other is the 18-minute David Schmidt webinar. I lean in the direction of the 18-minute because it covers the science and it also drills into the benefits, and it's more customer user oriented, where the 18-minute is deeper into the science. Okay. So you got to choose depending on who you're talking to. But if someone's looking at it for personal use, as opposed to a doctor looking at it to maybe incorporate into practice, you might, make that decision. But I think after evaluating both of them, I now lean and recommend people start with the 18-minute video from David Schmidt.
And Gregory, I'm glad, I'm not sure who asked that question. We're getting so many comments, it's wonderful. I'm going to add that video to the care section. I've mentioned the 3-minute video, so I'm so glad whoever asked that question did, and I'll get it up later today.
Yes, excellent. Okay.
Wonderful. Gregory, I appreciate your years of experience and how you have such a love of network marketing and a love of this technology and the patch, and
Mhm.
but especially your understanding of network marketing. So then we have a few minutes left. So we come to when to do a three-way call, when to send an X39 sample. I think we've pretty well covered
Mhm.
when to send the sample. And we can, before we leave, but let's finish this page here in the guidebook.
Mhm.
We'll, flip back to the nitty gritty page, because
Yeah.
I went into detail on three-way calling, and we can just kind of do an overview
Excellent.
on that. But I
Well,
love your success tip. Never end one exposure without scheduling the next.
and that's $1 million success tip.
Yes.
That is one of the key cornerstones to your success, because once you put the evaluation in motion, you want to continue giving people the right information, the right amount of information at the right time. And I found sooner is better than later. More is sometimes better than less. You don't want to overwhelm them. And that's why, I know another thing Robin likes to do you like a lot of information or a little information? And some people say, pour it on, and other people say, I'm not really a reader, so I'd rather see video, or, not too much, but I'd like to see some additional. So you don't overwhelm, you don't give the same amount or the same information to anyone. This is where you kind of get into prescriptive and diagnostic sales, I guess you could say. You want to diagnose their level of interest and how much information they want, and determine which information to send them and get it to them right away. And with enthusiasm, say, I'm so excited that you really enjoyed that first video. I'm going to go ahead and get that second video out as soon as we're off the call here. In fact, you may just pick up your phone, say, okay, I'm going to send it to you right now. And they go, whoa, Bing, I just got it. I know, isn't that cool? And we got this app that the company gives us for free. And you can boast a little bit about the InTouch app, because that's, to some people, that's as important a reason to join as a distributor or business builder as the quality of the product. It's one thing to have a good product. It's another thing to have the tools to share and sell it. So never end one exposure out scheduling the next. So let's jump back.
And
Go
the
ahead.
InTouch app is duplicatable. Anybody can do it. Do you have a few points after this under care, Gregory? If you scroll
See what
down.
we had. Oh, handling objections is a big one.
Yes.
And that's a real simple one. You don't want to look at as, objections may appear to be stumbling blocks, but instead think of them as opportunity and workflows. And almost all objections open up a door for greater possibilities of understanding. And they're the perfect opportunity for you to transfer your enthusiasm to them. And so think of it, objections are nothing more than questions in disguise. I can't even read my own writing. So this is a tried and true, proven way of dealing with objections. If somebody says, well, it's too expensive, don't say, no, it's not, because now you're in a conflict resolution, as opposed to, yeah, I know how you feel. I kind of felt the same way. But, I found when you look at the cost and the inconvenience of getting ill versus staying well, this turned out to me to be very inexpensive. So, feel felt found just works. It's like, okay, I can relate with you. I know how you feel. In fact, at one point when I first looking at this, I thought it was a little pricey too. But I found after I started trying the products, the benefit I got were off the charts. And I'm happy to say, at 68 years old, I'm on 0 pharmaceutical drugs. Statistically, people my age are on 4 or 5. I'm on 0, and I want to keep it that way. So, you can tell them what you found.
And I love your next success tip. Listen with the intention of understanding, not with the intention of responding.
That's such a key one, because even though we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, most people tend to use them in reverse. And another thing, when someone is talking, we're going through this automatic reflex reaction of pattern recognition. Well, what am I going to say? How am I going to respond to this? And stop that. A Covey quote, because I live with a Covey trainer: seek first to understand, then to be understood. And listen with the intention of understanding. And one of the ways to make sure you understand is reflecting back. Say, okay, Judy, I think I understand what you said, and you're expressing to me one of your concerns is da 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 da. Did I get that right? And all of a sudden, Judy goes, he's listening to me. He understands.
He cares. He
I care.
cares.
As opposed to, no, that's not the issue. Let me tell you how it is. Listen to me right now. It's like no one likes that, but no one likes to be sold, but everybody loves to be understood. So that's, and the funny thing about that, it works in every area of your life. It works with your family, it works with your friends, it works in your business, it works with your prospects. It's a paradigm shift for most of us to listen with the intention of understanding, but I challenge you to try it today. Maybe this is your homework. When you're talking to people, before you respond, listen with your heart instead of your head. Hearing is a physiological process. Listening is a heart and soul process. So listen with your heart and soul to people with the sincere desire to understand where they're coming from. And when you give someone understanding, it's like giving them a breath of fresh air. They go, he's listening to me. And Rob and I still go through that. She goes, you're not listening. And I go, okay, let's restart that. Say that to me again, because we all get busy.
And Gregory, a little aside, when I taught high school, the only reason I had such a good time and why discipline was never an issue, and the students and I laughed together a lot, is I wanted to understand where each person was coming from. Mm-hmm. I didn't care if they came at me and they were angry, whatever. I say, I can't hear you when you're angry. Can you just say it in a different way? Because I want to hear what you're saying and understand. And it's the only reason I had I had such a good time teaching high school. But let's go to the follow-up success tips. And I had a personal aha while you were talking, that on the What's New page on Nitty Gritty 101, I have a quotable quote. And I think I'm going to start for the quotable quotes using your success tips. Look at, you have 10 there. And just, a different one each time. So we just kind of get it into our bones. We're all on the same page, or we get it into our hearts. So let's just take turns reading these 10, then we'll whip over to Nitty Gritty and just show you everybody where the information is for three-way calling. So I'll begin with 1, and then Gregory, you can do 2. And this is sort of how I introduce people to Nitty Gritty. Take turns. We're in the sharing and caring business, not the convincing business. And the convincing business is when you're pushing. Number 2, Gregory.
And as we've said, your responsibility is to give people enough information to make an informed decision.
Usually it will take multiple discussions and exposures for your prospects to make a decision. However, if they say, I want to buy it, that's the time when you stop talking and say, all right, let's do it. Number 4.
And I like to say you'll be wasting your time contacting people if you're following up. Again, law of the farm, it's like planting seeds and not watering.
Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorites. You can earn as you learn, and you aren't expected to know everything. And the flip side is you can earn as you learn, and you can learn as you earn. That's the essence of network marketing.
I love that. And so all you really need to know is where and how to get the information people want. In the beginning, you won't have much, and that's okay. And the longer you're in, the more natural it will come.
But at least you have In Touch and Nitty Gritty with the Getting Started guide.
Beautiful.
Have one calendar where you post and keep track of all your scheduled follow-up calls.
Mm-hmm. Never miss a meeting and never be late. When I have something on my calendar for 10 o'clock on such and such a day, at 9:55, I'm getting ready and I'm looking at the clock and I'm kind of mentally rehearsing what we're going to go over. I'm entering into that call with some intention, but if my phone doesn't ring at 10 o'clock from them, it's going to ring at 10:01 to them.
You are in business for yourself, not by yourself.
Mm-hmm. And your sponsor, your upline, LifeWave corporate team, we're all here to help you succeed.
Which is why I love the network marketing business model. And number 10, practice, learn, and do three-way calls with your upline. What a perfect segue to flip over to nitty-gritty to have a look at the three-way calling section.
Okay, so we'll be there in a moment.
All right, thank you for
Here we are.
doing all this for us. So there we are with our three-way calling. And it's just a more elaborated from what Gregory and I were talking about. I think you'll find it self-explanatory. I found a great diagram that helps you understand the whole sequence. And one Saturday morning training, we need to have one just on three-way calling. If you scroll down, Gregory, a little bit, right to the bottom. We'll let you read this on your own. There are some useful replays when we were doing conference calls before Zoom. One with Kai Jacobson on three-way calling, and one on David Sunwolf Itkow, who is the master of handling objections. So those are two that you can listen to. And we just encourage you to explore this section here on three-way calling. All right, so I think this brings us to our end of our Saturday morning training, at least from my perspective. What about you, Gregory? Do you have anything you would like to add?
Well, I just want to remind everybody to check out what's new. The what's new section in Nitty Gritty is there for all of you. And Judy, you do such a spectacular job, always keeping it alive with new information. So this is where we share updates and what we're doing. So, but I just think, we went a little over, but I think the juices were flowing. I hope everybody got what they were looking for and more. So thanks everyone for being enthusiastic participants. And, we're just here to help every way and every step as we can.
Made such a difference having your comments, your questions. Thank you for participating. It was a crowded room, but very spacious. So Gregory, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for being with us. And remember, keep on patching.
So this recording is on our Facebook group right now, and there's about 5 minutes of music in the front, so you have to fast forward to get into the meat of it. And Monday morning, it'll be uploaded into our Live Younger YouTube channel. So thanks, everyone. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, everyone.
Keep patching.
Keep on patching.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Judy. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gregory. Bye.